Do you guys remember back in the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble when Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan made history by outperforming everyone and becoming the first two entrants to enter and the last two remaining? Well, I don't. But thankfully, Sportskeeda posted a tweet about it, and it reminded me of something. WWE fumbled this feud badly. So today, let's talk about it. Now, to recap this rivalry for those of you who don't know, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley were once good friends who were a part of a tag team. I think they even held gold at some point. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the point being, they were really good friends until, like most WWE tag teams, they were split up with Rhea Ripley attacking Liv Morgan and beating her to a pulp. And Rhea would continue to beat on her and win against Liv for the following weeks to come, right? And then around this time too, Rhea would join the Judgment Day alongside Edge and Damian Priest. So the feud between her and Liv would carry over into that. So then fast forward to the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble, right? And like I stated previously, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley were the first two to enter and the last standing, with Rhea Ripley winning, of course. And after this, the two will go on their own separate parts, with Rhea going on to win the SmackDown Women's Championship and Liv pairing with Raquel to win the tag team belts. But Rhea couldn't stand to see her former tag team partner winning though. So on some hater ass shit, she decides to attack Raquel and Liv backstage, which ends in Liv actually being injured. And so to write her off TV next week, Rhea would injure Liv next segment, right? Now fast forward to the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble, Liv Morgan would make her return after being injured for 6 months. She didn't end up winning the match, but it didn't matter because with Bayley winning the match and choosing Io as her WrestleMania opponent, this left Rhea without anyone to work with, and with both legs being free, WWE made the smart decision to go with Becky Lynch. So Rhea beats Becky at Mania, and now WWE remembers the last year and a half and decides to put Liv in a program with Rhea. And it ends with Liv legitimately injuring Rhea, just like Rhea injured Liv. So Rhea opens Raw the next week and announces that she'll be relinquishing her belt. It's sad, blah, 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 right? Which kicks off the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. So next week, WWE announces that there will be a women's battle royale to crown a new women's world champion. And going into this match, Liv Morgan was a heat magnet. Like, people generally did not want this girl to win. It was crazy. They did not want this girl to win the match. Which was good, because around this time, Raw was struggling to find heels in the women's division. It still is. But with Liv being the biggest heel in the women's division, surely now they would pull the trigger on her, right?
Oh my god, bro.
Eventually, though, Liv went on to win the title off Becky with the help of Dominic, and that led to a rather interesting angle with Liv slowly infiltrating the Judgment Day and her and Dom getting closer and closer. And to be honest, I was fucking with it. You know, seeing the two most hated wrestlers in the company come together, it was intriguing. You know, it made for some fun TV. It was fun television. This went on for a few weeks until Rhea recovered and returned to TV. And things only got more interesting from here because now there was some weird love triangle thing. I mean, technically a square if you want to count the whole Jey Uso thing. Yeet. Now fast forward to SummerSlam. And going into the match, Dominic had publicly aligned himself with Rhea Ripley like the week before. I think he cut like a brutal promo on Liv. I don't really remember. But then, in a twist of events, right, Dominic turns on Rhea, costing her the title, and then kisses Liv Morgan. And this is personally my favorite moment of the whole show. And in my opinion, this is where, unfortunately, the feud peaked. You see, after SummerSlam, this feud would fall off so bad, it became, like, actually unwatchable. Like, I genuinely stopped watching WWE around this time because of this feud. So now I'm about to go over the three main reasons as to why I believe this feud, which started off really good, tanked so badly. Starting off with the first reason this feud didn't turn out so well, and this reason is arguably the biggest, and it's the fact that this feud was too centered around Dominic. You know, despite the fact that these girls had so much lore and material going back years and years that WWE could have used to keep this feud hot, they instead decided to put all their eggs in one basket, which was Dominic. Like, I'm pretty sure they even had like a custody match over him where he was in a cage at some point, which I somewhat understand from a business standpoint, I mean, you know, I get it. Like Dom, to his credit, was one of the most hated guys in the entire industry at this time. But even still, to focus on chicken nuggets and being called daddy instead of focusing on years of betrayal and real life injuries suffered at the hand of one another was a terrible decision for WWE, and this feud got stale really quickly. The second reason this feud was fumbled was because Liv rarely won and also looked weak in comparison to Rhea. And again, I get it. Rhea Ripley is clearly the bigger and stronger out the two. But if you remember early onto the feud, Liv Morgan was standing on business. Liv Morgan was the type to go heads up with Rhea. You know, yes, she was still getting overpowered, but she wasn't this chicken shit heel that ran every time Rhea's music hit. On another note, I'm not sure what Triple H's obsession is with making heels lose, but he does it a lot, and over time, that kills their credibility. I can only suspend my belief for so long. So no, when you lose match after match after match, why would I, as a fan and a consumer of the product, believe that you'll win this time? And this is just a general problem with Triple H booking in general, is that every heel, not named Gunther of course, is going to lose a lot. And I'm really not sure why he does this, because when he was a heel, he sure didn't fucking lose all the time. And the final reason this feud flopped was because WWE got the heel and face mixed up. Again, remember how this whole feud started, right? It was because Rhea betrayed Liv. Liv then stood up to her. They beefed for months, meet up again at the Rumble. Months later, Rhea attacked Liv again, only this time actually injuring her and taking 6 months of her career away. Liv heals and comes back, wanting revenge, and rightfully so. So she then attacks Rhea and injures her and wins her title, right? So for anyone like really, you know, keeping up or following the timeline, Liv Morgan isn't the bad guy in this feud. Rhea is. But WWE doesn't want us to remember that. But yeah, this feud sucked ass, and WWE completely dropped the ball with it. You know, if you ask everyone what the best feud of 2024 was, some will say Roman versus Cody or Drew McIntyre versus Punk, but it should have been Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. And I'll never forgive WWE for this. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Did WWE fumble big time, or was this always destined to be made? Also like, comment, and subscribe. That's about it. Thank you. Bye.